Ahoy! Today we're summarizing the changes from the bonus balance for SMITE Patch 8.2, since there are quite a lot of pretty drastic balance changes, especially to hunters and healers. Here's a quick overview of the skins for this patch. The first drastic change that we're seeing in this patch is a nerf to healing. The not brawling effect that reduces your healing will now kick in after 3 seconds instead of 4 seconds after being in a fight with an enemy guard. So the time window for increased healing is 1 second shorter. In the same breath, the anti-heal items have also been partially reverted. They keep their new durations, since now not brawling is in the game, but the healing reduction has been reverted to the original values for all anti-heal items. Along with that, Caduceus Shield also has an accidental price change reverted and now costs 2,500 gold instead of 2,250. So healers should see a performance hit, but they're not the only ones. Fail Not also gets multiple nerfs. The physical power is decreased from 45 to 40, and the critical strike chance is reduced from 20 to 10%. In return, it receives a small buff, increasing the critical strike chance on marked enemies from 15 to 20%. And this part applies for your whole team. This will probably make the item significantly less popular with hunters that are not ability based, or especially those that are focused on the crit component of it, simply because the crit is a lot more conditional and not as useful for every hunter. Not building Fail Not especially hurts the current hunter build that doesn't build Executioner and relies on percentage pen from other items, primarily from crit and a little bit from Berserker Shield. And speaking of which, Berserker Shield also gets multiple nerfs. The cost is increased from 2,500 to 2,600, the physical power is decreased from 50 to 40, and the attack speed is reduced from 20 to 15%. This is likely still an effective item, but we might see it being rushed less in 3 rolls at the same time. Spectral Armor receives a buff to its passive, decreasing the amount taken from critical hits from 50% down to 40%, further nerfing crit on hunters. The combination of these changes makes me think that we'll see a fair bit more of Kin Size again. Mages also take a hit, with Archmage's Gem receiving a shift. Here, the magical scaling per stack is reduced from 2% to 1.5%, from a maximum of 40% to 30%, and at the same time the magical power is increased from 100 to 120. So if you have high scaling abilities, you might not even lose that much damage, but if you have a single burst ability that you rely on, then this will most certainly be a nerf. Apollo receives a nerf to Across the Sky, reducing the power scaling from 40% per tick to 30% per tick, or from 160 in total to 120 in total, so 40% reduction here. While this nerf only affects his gank potential and not so much many of his more pressing issues, those may be taken care of by the other hunter item changes anyways, so we'll see how it performs after these changes. Danzaburo receives multiple much needed nerfs, with Fool's Gold having its base damage reduced from 70 to 270 to 70 to 250, and Aboro's Rocket having the stun duration reduced to 1 second flat instead of a 1 second scaling to 1.4 seconds. The same thing applies here. I would think that even after these changes he'd still be strong, but there are multiple item changes affecting him as well, so we'll see how those impact him and if those maybe push other hunters more on the forefront of the meta. I could still imagine further nerfs to his CC at a later point happening. Kukulin receives a nerf to his Berserk, reducing the physical power per level from 3 to 2 when transformed, and Barbed Spear and Ground Slam both have their base damage reduced from 75 to 315 to 65 to 305, so 10 flat off here, since he was a very dominant force in solo lane. Scylla gets multiple scaling reductions, with Sikkim having its scaling decreased from 80% to 75%, Crush having its scaling reduced from 90% to 85%, and the magical protection reduction of Crush being reduced from 25% to 20%. While the Archmage's Gem change also affects her, it might actually not be a major nerf to her since she has such high scaling abilities, so it makes sense that she would receive some separate nerfs. If you enjoyed this quick summary of the changes, feel free to click the sub button and maybe the bell so you get notified of other upcoming SMITE videos as well as these summaries. With that, thank you guys very much for watching, I hope to see you for the next one soon. Duke Sloth, out.